Now on CoastTV News.
Icy spots and bitter wind chills greeting us out the door this morning, tracking the potential for record-setting cold over the next few days and the threat of a weekend snowstorm.
Cold on the coast, a live look at what neighborhoods are waking up to.
Learning continues despite closures, how teachers are keeping lesson plans moving as many students face another snow day.
Setting the rules of the game, lawmakers to review changes to Delaware's Fairness in Girls Sports Act.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Grace Eckerly.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for joining us for our 6 o'clock hour.
On a Tuesday.
Yes.
On a Tuesday.
You got it, Grace. You got it, yes.
And our largest concern this Tuesday morning is black ice.
Yes, a lot of our schools have no school today, which is always good to just stay inside early in the morning when it's at its coldest. I mean,
who's
18
gonna
degrees
complain
is what
about
my
that?
car was saying.
Yeah, especially in the early morning hours. If you are up before the sun rises, that is when black ice is at its worst.
You're
So if
walking
you
your
do
dog
have
this
to,
morning.
if you have to head out, just take precaution. We do have our Emma Aiken live in the field, and we'll get to her later.
Yes.
But first, let's get to Chris Mastrobono. Chris, you've been awfully busy this week tracking the storm and looking at all these freezing temperatures this week. Good morning, Chris.
And we will get back to Chris in a moment, but be sure to download the CoastTV app for your phone and tablet. We've been using it for special coverage of the storm, but all of our news is always on this. And in case you didn't know, you can also get the CoastTV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
As we mentioned before, our top story this morning is the snow situation, especially on those side streets in Sussex County.
And to show us what drivers could be dealing with this morning, we have our Emma Aiken live in Milford. Emma, what are you seeing this morning now that all that snow has frozen over?
Grace and Elisa, good morning. We are live driving on ice. I would say the roads, but I don't even want to say that because it's basically as if we're just driving on ice. So take a look outside here. It's very intermittent patches, but in some areas it's really covering the entire road. You can see these clear patches of just complete ice, black ice. So certainly a little bit of a sketchy driving situation. We're on a horseshoe drive here in Milford. It's kind of one big horseshoe, and it's feeling more like an ice skating rink right now with just the way this road is covered with caked on frozen snow. I mean, it's really looks like the plows couldn't have gotten under all of this. And when we take those turns, I mean, it's definitely requiring some extra focus, extra caution, really gripping the steering wheel with two hands and kind of just hoping for the best. And if that's what our First Alert Weather Jeep is doing, being extra mindful if you're out walking, if you're, stepping on this ice. Switching gears to the schools, we know Milford School District is still off again today due to these conditions. They're doing that asynchronous learning, saying that it's still icy near some of the school district buildings. You can imagine. I mean, look here, look at this ice as we turn this corner here. It's really no joke out here. So just want all of our viewers to see that and just be mindful of that. Again, it's different in neighborhood to neighborhood. This is kind of average of what we've seen. But over on Route 1 and everything, it is better. It's better on the main highways. But if you live in these side streets or neighborhoods or have to go through them, just using extra caution. We'll check back in later as we scope out some more of these neighborhoods and side streets for you guys. But for now, Grace and Elisa, back to you.
Thank you, Emma. Be careful out there. And much like the rest of Delmarva, Wicomico County is covered in ice. Roads that were a slushy mess have now frozen over, and that has led to some difficult driving conditions, especially on side roads, as Emma just showed us, that have gotten little to no attention from plows. The good news for drivers, once you get onto the main roads, things look clear.
Especially trying to come around the corners, it's nothing but hydroplaning because your tires are just rolling. I slipped when it had first started snowing. Slid a little bit, but I remain controlled.
And we are being told there is no sign of any lingering snow or ice on Route 50 or Route 13.
Happening now, a number of school districts will continue changes due to the snow and those extremely cold temperatures, as well as that black ice on the road. Seaford School District and Woodbridge School District will operate under a snow day today. Cape Henlopen School District says schools are closed, but students will participate in synchronous learning. The Laurel, Milford, and Indian River School Districts say students there will participate in asynchronous learning.
And so what is the difference between asynchronous learning and synchronous? Well, synchronous learning requires students to attend scheduled classes and complete assignments together, whereas asynchronous allows students to work at their own pace and complete assignments on their own time.
Colleges across Delmarva also taking their precautions due to the weather. According to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, all classes will be held virtually. Residence hall move-ins are being delayed until next weekend. And over at Salisbury University, they're also hosting virtual classes this week, with in-person classes expected to resume on Monday, February 2nd. Delaware State University is announcing that their students will move to synchronous or asynchronous learning, and all of their campus events are canceled for the day.
New this morning, a hearing is scheduled for a potential change to Delaware's Fairness in Girls Sports Act. Senate Bill 215 would require schools to designate their athletic teams as either boys or girls. This builds on the act that requires athletes to play for teams that correspond with their biological sex. According to state leaders, the Education Committee will review the proposed changes at a hearing tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And you can find more about Senate Bill 215 and the hearing at the article on our website, CoastTV.com.
A tractor trailer carrying propane turned over on Monday morning. It's on Route 50. Maryland State Police say the trailer tipped while heading west on Route 50 just before the Route 113 junction. Police say the weather conditions did not appear to contribute to the accident. Only minor injuries to the driver, but the tank did leak.
This just in, Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is leaving Minneapolis this week, and the number of Customs and Border Patrol agents will be reduced. This is according to 2 officials.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how lawmakers are calling for transparent investigations and oversight after another shooting in recent days.
A shifting landscape in Minneapolis this morning, where the outcry over federal agents shooting 37-year-old Alex Preddy to death is prompting the Trump administration to shake up its leadership on the ground and reduce the number of Border Patrol agents there. That's according to an administration official and a law enforcement source. State and local officials have been pressing for a federal agent pullout.
What justifies this disproportionate flood? Nothing legitimate.
The White House confirming Border Czar Tom Homan will now head up operations in Minneapolis, with the controversial Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino moving out, according to 2 sources, and the administration defending its top Homeland Security leadership.
Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States.
DHS Secretary Noem now scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill amid mounting bipartisan frustration. Republican Senator John Curtis saying he disagreed with Noem's, quote, premature DHS response before all the facts were known in the Preddy shooting, weakening confidence, he says. A growing number of GOP lawmakers calling for an independent investigation, as multiple cell phone videos verified and analyzed by NBC News contradict the Trump administration's initial description, suggesting Preddy was a domestic terrorist. Local officials say he was legally carrying his gun. Outside the Minneapolis VA hospital, where Preddy worked as an ICU nurse, a growing memorial and mounting grief from past patients.
He held my hand and he told me things were going to get better.
That now a devout wish for a city in turmoil. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Happening today back here at home, discussion and possible vote on changes in Millville. According to the agenda on today's town council meeting, officials will consider and possibly vote on an ordinance to create a voter registration system to municipal elections. A public hearing is set to take place regarding a conditional use application for a proposed 23-lot development. Town documents say plans call for 17 townhomes and 6 duplexes. Officials could vote on the application following the hearing, and those town leaders will gather tonight at 7 p.m.
Delmarva Power says its system held up well during the winter storm with few outages reported across Delaware and Maryland. The company says years of upgrades and quick work by crews made the difference. But even with that success, Delmarva Power is now asking regulators to raise electric rates. The utility wants nearly $68 million more in base rates and a higher monthly customer charge. If approved, interim rates could take effect next summer.
We're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News Today.
Coming up, blood donations needed. We'll tell you about a local drive being held today to honor National Blood Donor Month.
Refuge from the cold. Where to go on Delmarva if you're in need of shelter during these freezing conditions.
And strumming ukulele is how one group of middle schoolers learned how to play music. But first, we are going to check in with First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono. He is right there, busy working. Maybe to bring us warmer temperatures. I don't think so. We will check in with him after the break.
Good Tuesday morning, Delmarva. Bitterly cold air greeting us this morning. Slick conditions on those untreated surfaces. We're at 15 degrees in Dover. It feels like 5 degrees in Dover with the wind chill, 6 in Easton, and it feels like 7 in Bethany Beach. Plenty of clear skies across the area this morning, and we are in for a mostly sunny day. Boy, I'll tell you what, temperatures have been all over the place this month. We had a temperature 66 back on the 10th, 22 back on last Saturday, and we are in the midst of a very cold stretch of weather this week. Sub-freezing temperatures for all the entire week. In fact, we aren't going to get above the freezing mark until it looks like by Monday at the earliest. Highs today right in the upper 20s to right around the 30-degree mark along the eastern shore, feeling like the teens with that wind chill, and it gets even colder in the days ahead. I'll have the latest on that, plus the weekend storm potential here in a few minutes.
Music is all around us, but what if every student had the opportunity to make it themselves? This week, reporter Emma Aiken shows us how one nonprofit is using the sweet sound of that idea to make it a reality.
You're looking at a class of 7th graders learning how to play the ukulele. That sound is made possible by the Freeman Foundation and its Arts Education Initiative, which in this case provides a classroom with a full set of ukuleles and teaching tools for free.
What do you think would be a good solution?
Freeman Arts Education Coordinator Nancy Curry says this is part of an effort to put an instrument in every hands.
It's more accessible for them, and it sort of opens up a whole new world for them.
For this class, Dr. Louise Anderson from Salisbury University joined Mrs. Colgrove's class at Mariner Middle School in Milton to strum a few chords and teach a few songs. Anderson calls this magic.
I get so excited when I see students learning something new and it clicks with them and they're all participating. They were all concentrating so hard for the entire time.
And as Mrs. Colgrove can attest, keeping the attention of a bunch of 7th graders isn't always easy.
Every time Dr. Anderson adds a new chord, they're like, okay, I have to pay attention because I got to learn this new thing. And you could see them going into autopilot with some that we did last time. So every time she added a spin on something, I could see them go, oh shoot, I can't autopilot on this anymore.
It's skills like focusing, listening, remembering that these 7th graders are enhancing, maybe without even knowing.
I think ukulele has been cool because it's fun for me to see students who aren't necessarily interested in everything that we have to offer here find something that they are doing well and that they seem to be enjoying.
And Curry says the ukulele is a relatively easy instrument to learn on.
It's sort of a gateway to guitar or larger string instruments.
From simple strings to powerful lessons, the sound of learning has never been so sweet.
It's always about participation and not perfection.
For the Ties That Bind Us, I'm Emma Aiken.
The time is now 6:17 and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning. Chris, that water is freezing. I know that because it's freezing outside, but it is just another cold day. We're dealing with the ice on the roads, that black ice that froze over overnight. So need to drive slowly, walk slowly.
Exactly. Hopefully you had a chance to maybe clear out that snow and ice yesterday. If you didn't do it yesterday during the day, don't try it now. Try it during the daytime when we get that sun out and we get the rays of the sun melting some of that snow. 17 right now in Laurel. Bitterly cold air is over the peninsula. It's 11. That's the temperature in Harrington. 13 in Milford. We're at 18 in Bethany Beach. When you factor in the wind, it feels like 3 degrees in Harrington. It feels like 9 in Dagsboro, and it feels like 5 in Rehoboth Beach. Cold weather advisories do continue through 10 a.m. on Wednesday for all of Delaware and northern portions of the mid-shore. As far as our southern counties go, Dorchester, Wycomico, Worcester, this is up through 10 a.m. today. Now, clear skies are going to be with us through the day today, not really warming us up all that much. You can see that Arctic air filtering over the warmer Atlantic Ocean. This cold front is going to initiate another reinforcing shot of Arctic air as we go into the night tonight. Average high 45. Well, we're going to be well below that here over the course of the next 7 days, and we're not going to get above the freezing mark. It looks like forecasting highs above the freezing mark not until Monday. High of 28 in Lewis today, 29 in Georgetown, 28 Cambridge, 31 in Salisbury to 31 in Chicotee. So we stay mainly clear through the day today. As that cold front approaches, could see a brief snow shower or flurry this evening. Not going to amount to much. It's another bitter start to our day on Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine over the next few days, but also plenty of cold. Feeling only like 14 in Dewey Beach this afternoon into the evening, 12 in Milton, feeling like 0 by tomorrow morning in Lewis, -1 in Ellendale. And then you see the core of that cold. The coldest mornings look to be Thursday and Friday, as we could dip as low as -8 to -10 across the area. In fact, we could be challenging some record cold highs those days as well. And there's that Arctic front. That Arctic high settling in over the Ohio River Valley, and that cold air is pretty much locked in for the remainder of the week. 23 for a high on Thursday. 20 is all we're going to do on Friday under partly cloudy skies. Now, as we go into the weekend, you may have heard rumblings about another potential storm this weekend. Models do have a storm, a coastal low. Now, this is going to be a different setup than what we had last weekend. It's all about track. How close does this storm track to the coast? It's going to be the difference between no snow, couple inches, or a bigger storm. So that's what we're going to be fine-tuning here over the next few days as the models get a better handle on that developing storm. 29 for the high today, feeling like 13 to 19 degrees. 11 feeling like 3 below to 0 overnight with that brief snow shower early. 26 for a high on Wednesday, and yes, feeling like 11 to 18, and it gets even colder, challenging some record cold highs into Friday. 20 degrees, 24 on Saturday, and then it's all about that storm over the weekend. What does it do? Do we have a direct hit? Do we have a miss? Looking at temperatures finally getting above the freezing mark as we go into Monday. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. And with that looming threat of that potential storm, be sure to download the CoastTV app for your phone and your tablet. We've been using it for all the special coverage from our meteorologists and our news teams this weekend. But all of our news is always on this. And in case you didn't know, you can also get our CoastTV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
And this is now going to bring us to our CoastTV poll. We want to know what worries you most with this weather, so let's take a look at these results.
Most people still voting with the snow that just won't melt. Elisa, that is a stubborn problem that people are having.
It is a problem, especially if you've seen those piles of snow just piled up in parking lots. It's nowhere to go. But my concern is black ice, because you really cannot see it driving, walking, whatever you're doing. It's
and
dangerous.
like you mentioned, people need to be careful if you're out taking your dog for its early morning walk today. Just be advised as you're heading out on your adventures. If you still haven't voted yet, you can still do so at coasttv.com or on our mobile app.
Warming centers are open across Delmarva for those in need of refuge from the cold. Gray Street Recovery Community in Talbot County is one of only 2 24-hour warming centers near Easton. Volunteers say they have been there for days, helping those in need. According to Derek Croyer with Gray Street Recovery Community, local agencies like the EMS and Talbot County Police Department helped by sponsoring hotel rooms for some people in need.
And up next on CoastTV News today, blood donors needed. Why the Blood Bank of Delmarva says donations right now are crucial. Don't go anywhere. Happening today, the Blood Bank of Delmarva will hold its largest blood drive of the year in Ocean City. The 27th annual Ocean City Blood Drive is taking place today, and it comes at an important time as January is National Blood Donor Month, signifying the time of year when donors are most needed. To donate, you can head to the Roland E. Powell Convention Center today from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
The blood bank actually says they are now facing a significant supply crisis following the storm. The weather caused canceled blood drives and closed donation sites. The inventory has dropped by over 200 whole blood and platelet units, so the blood bank encourages people to donate now if they can. And Matt Pensick has once again brought bad luck to a Phillies sports team. Here's a picture from Matt. He sent this to us last night. It's raising a lot of questions. If you do recall, Matt recently went to a 76ers game versus the Cleveland Cavs. And of course, my Cavs won. But this picture, Matt sent it to us. Is Matt gritty? I think we really need to take a deep dive in this, Grace.
Lisa, we might be we're uncovering a conspiracy theory. We don't know what Matt Pensick does on his weekends, at his nights. If he's not in the studio or at this desk, where is he? Is it possible that he's parasailing down from the Flyers
He very well might
stadium?
be, but our producer Alyssa, a diehard Philly fan, said that she's going to ban Matt from going to the city of Philadelphia if one more of her teams lose when Matt is at a game.
And we said this earlier, we think that it is very plausible that Matt Pensick would get banned entirely from the city of Philadelphia. They're putting a citywide ban on Matt Pensick. Chris, how do you feel about this situation?
I don't know. Yeah, it's been a rough month for me and Alyssa and our Philly teams. I thought they were going to get the win. They had a big win in Colorado. I told Matt, come on, get us a win, Matt. Not going to hear from Bob. He's an Islanders fan. As we take a live look into Ocean City, you can see the frozen inlet there along the dock, 19 degrees there. Temperatures are going to be rising into the mid to upper 20s into Ocean City and Fenwick Island. Wall-to-wall sunshine, but it's going to feel like the teens with those wind gusts in excess of 20 miles an hour. Plenty of sunshine through Lewis and Rehoboth. Going to be a beautiful day as far as the sunshine is concerned, but not going to warm us up all that much. We stay below the freezing mark through Cambridge and Crisfield and through much of the eastern shore. Congratulations to Peter Lynch of Lewis, Delaware on winning an umbrella from CoastTV. We will talk about sub-zero wind chills over the days ahead and the threat of another snowstorm over the weekend. I'll talk more about that in our next half hour.
All attention on that, Chris. And after the break on CoastTV News today, Delmarva power rates by the companies asking for an increase.
Delaware Girls Sports when Delawareans can provide comments on a proposed bill.
Plus, icy road conditions, what drivers in Milford are dealing with as they head out on their morning commute. CoastTV News today continues after the break.
Now on CoastTV News.
Cold on the coast, a live look at what neighborhoods are waking up to.
Icy spots and bitter wind chills greeting us out the door this morning, tracking the potential for record-setting cold over the next few days and the threat of a weekend snowstorm.
Learning doesn't stop. Even with classrooms closed, schools are finding ways to keep lessons moving.
Power held through the storm, but we'll tell you why Delmarva Power is seeking a rate hike.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Grace Eckerly. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Grace. Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
I think everyone's goal today, as we've heard from Chris, bitter, frigid, cold. You just want to stay as warm as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, drink a warm beverage, wear an extra sweatshirt, sweater. It is a day where I don't think it's possible to get too warm because it's difficult.
The hats you have.
Yes.
We've heard Elisa
I do have a
Weber.
lot of winter hats.
Elisa Weber's got a pretty strong hat
Matt
game.
seemed jealous. He said he was like, you have a very strong hat game, Elisa.
I think he's jealous in his little Cavaliers hat. I think he wants something a little more fun. Maybe you could get him a Rutgers hat.
I don't wear those Penn State hats that he wears.
All right. We'll draw the line there. Okay. Turning now to first alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Chris, you're telling us hats, gloves, scarves, mittens, everything to keep you warm today.
That is right, Grace and Elisa. And a pleasant good morning, Delmarva. If you have to be out, yes, layer up. Have that warm beverage, plenty of hats and gloves and your scarves, and you're going to need the sunglasses once that sun rises after 7:15 this morning. And hopefully you laid down some ice melt last night because, yes, you're going to wake up to a sheet of ice this morning if anything has not already been cleared out. We're at 15 in Dover right now, holding at 16, Rehoboth Beach 15 in Milton, and we're at 15 in Salisbury. But when you factor in the wind, it feels like 5 in Rehoboth. It feels like 3 in Harrington, and it feels like 7 in Milton. So bitterly cold air over the region this morning. We are clear, dry, free of any snow at this point. We are tracking a cold front back off to the west, and this is going to initiate a reinforcing shot, believe it or not, of Arctic air as we go into the night tonight. So we can't rule out a brief flurry this evening, but for the most part, we are just cold and dry through the day today, and that Arctic air, unfortunately, not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, temperatures are going to slowly rise from the teens into the lower to mid 20s through the early part of the afternoon. We'll top out right in the mid to upper 20s. I think some areas along the eastern shore could graze the 30 degrees degree mark. But for the most part, it's going to feel like the teens throughout the day with the wind gusts of around 20 to 25 miles an hour. We'll talk about sub-zero wind chills in the nights ahead, and I'll have the latest on our thinking for the potential of another round of snow over the weekend. I'll have more on that here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris, and be sure to download the Coast TV app for your phone and tablet. If you didn't know, you can also get the Coast TV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
And our top story this half hour is that snow situation on our side streets in Sussex County.
And to show us what drivers could be dealing with this morning, we have Emma Aiken live in Milford. Emma, what are you seeing there this morning as all of that snow has frozen over?
Grace and Elisa, people here are waking up to a frozen Milford. Take a look outside. It's icy here. We're on these side streets kind of branching off of downtown, Northwest 2nd Street, kind of going between 3rd and 4th Street here. You can see as we take these turns, I mean, we have to go very slow because A, snow is piling out into the roads from the mounds the plows have made, and B, just all of that ice. You really don't know where it's going to be, and it's in a lot of places. So these side streets, not much better than the neighborhoods we were showing you before over at Shawnee Acres. It was very icy in certain parts over there. We were really having to focus extra hard to be safe while driving. And over in Horseshoe Drive neighborhood, lots of patches there. Take a look outside again here. You can see just how much snow is left because none of it has melted, and just these patches of ice and how slow we have to take these turns. We know bridges ice first, or freeze first, you may have heard that. So we did go over and check out the Mispillion River Bridge. It seemed fine over there. We weren't slipping there as much compared to some of these other spots. So that seemed okay. I know a lot of people have to go through that to get to and from Milford. That seemed okay. Obviously kids aren't in schools today, so if you are going outside, especially with kids or anything, just making sure because it is icy. Look at all these cars just really blocked in by the snow here. We will check back in later, but for now, send it back to you guys in the warm studio.
Thank you, Emma. Stay safe out there. And we're grateful for our road crews who've been working extra hard. Snowplows in Virginia keeping busy with the heavy snow this past weekend. And this snowplow in Alexandria, Virginia was doing just fine until it wasn't. After clearing the snow, the truck was unable to get any traction on the icy roads. You can see there it's just spinning its wheels, stuck, and the truck is not moving. While the snow is pushed aside, icy conditions remain one of the worst on the side roads and in our neighborhoods.
Icy roads made for difficult response to a house fire in Tennessee on Monday. Neighbors reported seeing smoke pouring out of the home. When fire and rescue crews arrived, they found heavy smoke and fire coming out of the back of the house. Officials say those icy roads delayed their response.
And because of those icy roads happening now, a number of school districts will continue changes due to the snow and the cold temperatures. Seaford School District and Woodbridge School District will operate under a snow day. Cape Henlopen School District says schools are closed, but students will participate in synchronous learning. And the Laurel, Milford, and Indian River School Districts say their students will participate in asynchronous learning.
So what is the difference between synchronous learning and asynchronous? Well, synchronous learning requires students to attend scheduled classes and complete assignments together, whereas asynchronous allows students to work at their own pace and complete assignments on their own time.
This just in, a hearing scheduled for a potential change to Delaware's Fairness in Girls Sports Act. Senate Bill 215 would require schools to designate their athletic teams as either boys or girls. That builds on the act that requires athletes to play for teams that correspond to their biological sex. According to state leaders, the Education Committee will review the proposed changes at a hearing tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Happening tonight, discussion and possible vote on changes in Millville. According to the agenda for today's town council meeting, officials will consider and possibly vote on an ordinance to create a voter registration system for municipal elections. A public hearing is set to take place regarding a conditional use application for a proposed 23-lot development. Town documents say plans call for 17 townhomes and 6 duplexes. Officials could vote on the application following that hearing. Town leaders will gather tonight at 7 o'clock.
Delmarva Power says its system held up well during the winter storm, with few outages reported across Delaware and Maryland. The company says years of upgrades and quick work by crews made the difference. But even with that success, Delmarva Power is now asking regulators to raise electric rates. The utility wants nearly $68 million more in base rates and a higher monthly customer charge. If approved, interim rates could take effect next summer.
The Trump administration is pulling Greg Bovino out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and putting border czar Tom Homan in.
Reed Binion shows us how this comes amid growing calls for a new approach to the federal immigration enforcement in Minnesota.
He's sending in his top guard, and really it's escalating because we just want to be left alone.
City and state leaders in Minnesota, as well as residents in Minneapolis, reacting to news the Trump administration is changing its immigration enforcement leadership in the city.
Good riddance. Couldn't have came sooner.
This amid growing outcry after federal agents shot and killed protester Alex Preddy on Saturday. President Donald Trump signaling new willingness to work with Democratic state officials. Trump said Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called him, saying, quote, "It was a very good call and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength." Walz described the call as productive and said the president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey said he also spoke with Trump and told the president his main request is that the immigration crackdown in the city be brought to an end. Meanwhile, some who witnessed Preddy's killing are sharing more details about what they saw.
I mean, the thing that stood out to me was that he was calm. There was no way that he was the one escalating this.
Amid ongoing protests and the growing memorials to Preddy, there was also a heartening moment of kindness as some Minnesota National Guard members handed out donuts and coffee to protesters.
I think that's true Minnesota energy. This is all about community.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
We have a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, eagles working together, how these birds preserve their nests for years.
And warming centers open where you can find comfort during these extremely low temperatures. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Well, here comes the sun in Laurel. We have a nice frosty shot here of the clear skies, the snow on the ground there. Icy start. Temperature right now 16 degrees in Laurel, but when you factor in the wind, yeah, we're seeing single-digit wind chills for most locations. It feels like 5 in Harrington, 7 Salisbury, and it feels like 7 in Lewis this morning. Plenty of clear skies are greeting us throughout the Delmarva Peninsula, and plenty of sunshine expected today. In fact, we're going to gradually continue to get colder each day this week. 29 for the high today, and by Friday and Saturday, we could come close to threatening some cold record highs across the area. 45 is our average high. You can get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert Weather phone. I'll have the latest on this continuing cold stretch and the threat of some snow over the weekend. My latest 7-day forecast is up next.
Thank you, Chris. It may be cold outside, but this will warm your hearts. A nice scene at the Delaware Botanic Garden spotted on Monday. 2 eagles working together to repair their nest. The pair carefully added sticks and reinforced their home, a hopeful sign of an upcoming mating season. Officials at the Botanic Garden say bald eagles often mate for life and return to the same nest year after year, growing it larger every time.
Coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 7:30. Stellar fights 70, then you can catch Outdoors Delmarva at 11:30.
Entertainment news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
You have to be grateful for all of it.
Stephen Colbert says he's grateful for a lot of things, including an upcoming honor from the Writers Guild of America. The late-night host is to receive the Guild's Walter Bernstein Award, given to a member who has demonstrated with creativity, grace, and bravery a willingness to confront social injustice in the face of adversity. CBS canceled Colbert's award-winning show shortly after the host criticized parent company Paramount Global's settlement with President Trump.
Oh my gosh.
One battle after another, co-star Chase Infinity is headed to the small screen. Her show, The Testaments, a spin-off series from The Handmaid's Tale, is set to debut April 8th on Hulu. Ann Dowd returns as Aunt Lydia, running a preparatory school for future wives in Gilead.
Ja nie wierzyłem, że ten negatyw istnieje.
To są właściwie jedyne zdjęcia wykonane w getcie warszawskim podczas powstania, które nie zostały zrobione przez Niemców.
33 Photos from the Ghetto is a rare look at one of World War II's darkest moments, the brutal Nazi response to the 1943 Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. A Polish firefighter took the photos, which his son found 80 years later. The documentary is now streaming on HBO Max. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And if you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. All you have to do is sign up for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
And it's all about warm thoughts this week as we progress into this brutal stretch of cold across the area. Some bitter wind chills are going to be greeting us really through the end of the week, and that sets the stage for another potential winter storm. I'll have the latest on that coming up next.
Time's now 6:47 a.m. as we're taking a live look out into Laurel. Nice sunrise reveal of the day. And Chris, it doesn't matter what town we look into, it's cold everywhere.
Oh yeah, we got cold, we got ice everywhere. For the folks that didn't clear out the ice, any areas, yes, you're going to be seeing some slick conditions out there this morning. Taking a live look into Dover, you can see the snow on the sidewalks there. Streets doing pretty good, especially the main roads. It's those back streets and sidewalks that you have to be very careful on. 15 degrees right now in Dover. We're holding at 11 in Harrington, 16 in Long Neck. When you factor in the wind, boy, we have seen some bitter wind chills this morning. 3 in Harrington, feeling like 5 in Rehoboth. Now, the cold weather advisory does continue for all of Delaware. This is through 10 a.m. on Wednesday. We're expecting cold beyond that, just to be clear. And the cold is going to be with us all week. And then that cold weather advisory, this is for the purpose of seeing the wind chills anywhere between about 0 to -5 across the area. Clear skies. You can see that Arctic air flowing over the warm Atlantic Ocean. Pretty quiet. We have some lake effect snow there. This cold front's going to be pushing through later on today. Maybe bring a flurry or two, but really what it's going to do is just reinitiate even more cold Arctic air across the area. Look at these overnight lows as we're forecasting by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Highs today, 30 Lewis, 29 in Georgetown, 29 Cambridge to 31 in Ocean City. So there's that flurry opportunity as we go into the early part of the evening. Other than that, it is another bone-chilling night as we dip into the single digits to lower teens into Wednesday morning. The wind chill, even colder, feeling like the teens today. By tomorrow morning, feeling like 0 in Lewis, -1 in Milton, and then by Thursday morning, Thursday and Friday morning are going to be the worst of the mornings here as far as the wind chill goes, feeling like 6 below in Long Neck, and then by Friday morning still feeling like 5 below in Milton, feeling like 2 below in Selbyville as that Arctic air just stays locked in across much of the eastern half of the country. We don't get above the freezing mark until it looks like Monday of next week. So keep in mind, avoid prolonged exposure to cold. Dress in multiple layers, cover any exposed skin. Never use the oven to heat your home, and of course protect your pets across the area. Temperatures are going to be falling well into the lower 20s as far as daytime highs are concerned. Could break a record cold high there on Friday. We stay dry and sunny through the week. Then all eyes are on the weekend. Models hinting at the potential of a storm system developing offshore. This is going to be a different story. Some of the models hinting at a pretty potent storm as well. Now it's going to be all about the track. How close does this storm track to the coast? How far? That will determine into what impacts we have. There's going to be a lot of wind with this storm system, so we could have a beach erosion component to this storm system as well as a coastal flooding component to the storm system, and depending upon how strong that area of low pressure does develop into the weekend. So keep a close eye to the forecast here over the next few days. 29 this afternoon, feeling like 13 to 19 degrees, 11 with that early snow shower, feeling like -3 to 0. And yes, the cold continues into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 20 for a high on Friday, and then watching that chance for snow over the weekend. Groundhog Day is Sunday as we welcome in the month of February, and then we finally get above the freezing mark into Monday with a high of 34. Lisa.
Thank you, Chris. Several warming centers across Delmarva remain open as dangerously cold temperatures continue. According to the Wicomico County Health Department, shelter is available at the Wicomico Civic Center today from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. In Dorchester County, people can head to a temporary shelter at 200 Washington Street in Cambridge. In Talbot County, the Talbot Interfaith Shelter is open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Other options include the Easton Library and Grace Street Recovery Wellness Center.
In Caroline County, the snow may have stopped, But the impact is still being felt, especially with icy conditions hanging around on side streets and back roads. Some people are taking advantage of the time inside, being productive while they're snowed into their homes.
We hunker down and do things at home. We get the house clean, taxes need to be done. You know, there's various things around the house that need to be done. So no time like the present, spring cleaning is here. It's January, time to get it done.
Due to weather conditions, Caroline County government offices will open at 10 a.m. today. And Goodwill is doing more than just good. The largest thrift store chain in the world says it exceeded $7 billion in revenue last year. That's not only a record-setting high, it's also a 7% hike from 2024. Analysts say the uncertain economy, slow job growth, and a rise in costs have more people shopping at Goodwill stores in order to save money.
The new assigned seating policy for Southwest Airlines goes into effect for flights starting now. Travelers can pick their seats in advance for an extra charge on flights. Purchase options include the ability to select seats with extra legroom. It's a big change from the airline, which used to let passengers choose any option, any open seat once they board. And the airline started booking tickets under the new policy in July for flights beginning today.
The time is now 6:52 a.m. Elisa, time to check in with one of our most iconic pets of the day.
This is a familiar face here on Coast TV News today. This is Benny. He is enjoying the cold. He's enjoying the snow. As we can see, Benny looks adorable outside. And Benny was submitted to us by Tammy in Seaford.
He seems like some nice company to have when you're snowed into your house with a nice cup of coffee next to you. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos, tell us what makes them so special if you take a look at your screen.
Scan the QR code at the top of your screen to submit your furry friend to Coast TV News, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature.
And it's time for the things you need to know before you go. A hearing is scheduled for a potential change to Delaware's Fairness in Girls Sports Act. Senate Bill 215 would require schools to designate their athletic teams as either boys or girls. This builds on the act that requires athletes to play for teams that correspond to their biological sex. According to state leaders, the Education Committee will review the proposed changes at a hearing tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're going to take another look at our forecast this morning. Elisa, before we head out the door.
Yes, and luckily schools do have off today. Most of them do, which, Chris, that's good so you don't have to wait at the bus stop when it's cold, and also it's just good for safety.
Yeah, we have bitter cold out there, feeling like the single digits this morning. So, yeah, dress warm, think warm thoughts, because we're not going to see any warm temperatures for a while here. Temperatures getting into the upper 20s, feeling like 18 by 3 o'clock, 26 for our Wednesday, and then it gets even colder Thursday into Friday with some wind chills by Thursday and Friday morning below 0, and then watching the possibility of snow over the weekend.
Possibility of snow, Chris? Oh my goodness, I'm nervous, Elisa. I'm
you
nervous.
like the snow, though.
I do. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News today.
The Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
And then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And be sure to download our Coast TV News and weather apps, especially our weather app right now. Have a great Tuesday.